Hello, I'm Tanya from the Australian Academy of Hypnosis. I'm one of the trainers here. Thanks for jumping on my video. Now, these videos are being done to basically put it out there about hypnotherapy. So what we're trying to do with this podcast is we're trying to make people aware of all of the many different issues, problems, habits, fears, phobias, pain, whatever it is, all of the different things that hypnotherapy can help with. And what a whole lot of my graduates at the Academy have agreed to do is to come on with me to these podcasts, to these video calls, and go not so much live with me, but just be real and raw around what their experience with hypnotherapy's been, whether they've just been a private client of mine through that or whether they've actually done one of our courses. So tonight we've got joining me Steph. Steph's joining me tonight. Steph's one of our graduates from last week, actually. She did the certificate training in Melbourne. So really looking forward to having a chat with Steph and see how she found everything. All right, so welcome, Steph. Thanks for jumping on with me tonight.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
It is exciting. So just to give you a brief rundown, Steph was on our course last week in Melbourne doing our level 1 certificate training. And I got to know Steph really well over this week. She's a fantastic person. And one thing I've learnt about my job and what I get to do is I get to meet some incredible people and incredible souls. So I'm really excited tonight, Steph, for you to share a little bit about your journey and how you've found hypnotherapy. Let's start with basically what sparked your interest in hypnotherapy.
Yeah, well, I first noticed it at the Mind, Body, Spirit exhibition.
That's right, yep.
I remember Paul being the person that I had initially spoken to and saw at first glance. And I was actually there with my daughter and partner, and out of a joke, though, I thought, oh, Alicia, let's have a look and see what hypnotherapy can do for you with her anxiety issues that she tends to experience. But upon speaking with Paul, it became an interest of what I could possibly gain from these sort of teachings and hypnotherapy, to incorporate not only for myself on a personal level, but to add an additional component to my services as well.
Yeah, cool. All right. So if you don't mind sharing, what are you currently doing with your services?
So I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I am also almost qualified as a holistic counsellor now. And so having the hypnotherapy component thrown into as an additional service, I think would just complement the practice a little bit, even more, with a little bit of a specialty, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So before Mind, Body, Spirit, had you delved into anything about hypnotherapy before?
No. So this kind of got me, it kind of snatched my attention out of the blue. Like it was quite sudden, and it did spark for me to look into it even further once I had a chat with Paul on that day. So it was almost like an awakening sort of thing, like, hang on,
yeah, very
I was
cool.
super excited after the first conversation. And then again, obviously we've had a few more conversations with myself and you to get a little bit more insight into hypnotherapy. So that just grew even more and more.
Yeah, cool. So then we pretty much had a conversation, didn't we, around sort of what you wanted to do and a little bit about you and your passions, etc.
Yeah, we did. We went into a good conversation and in depth as to where I kind of want to lead with it, where it could lead me and how I could expand with it. So we touched on a fair few areas, which was even helpful for me to understand is if this is the right path for me, is it where I want to venture into, and it all ticked the boxes at that point anyway.
Yeah, cool. And that's really important. You have to know what path is it that you're headed. And that's what I'm asking people all the time. I want to know, where do you want to take this, so that I can make sure that I can guide them properly along that process.
Yeah, and I definitely, after having the conversations with yourself more in depth, it was definitely an avenue that I want to delve in further and further. And honestly, my interest has just grown from that day one. It's not I haven't had any doubts about the path that I want to take and how I want to incorporate this additional thing. So, and learnings and teachings that you provide. So for me, it's been a positive and a growth from day one.
Yeah, perfect. So talk to me now, because I know about some of the challenges that you've had once you made a decision to come onto the course. And we can have a bit of a laugh about this now because you've come so far. But talk to me about some of those challenges that you faced after you made that decision that, yep, I'm going to do this. I want to learn how to do this. And then talk to me about what your brain did after that, because it's actually quite funny.
Yeah, my brain did a little bit of an overload. I think my anxiety obviously got the better of me. Yeah, I have my own issues with anxiety every now and then, and my own issues obviously with self-doubt sometimes as they creep in.
Yep. As we
And
all do.
yeah, absolutely. And they crept in when I had to deal with the most simplest of things, and that was how to get to you, how to get to the course, and the transport, and the being how the unknown location at the start started to creep all those emotions in for me personally. But my challenge was to obviously overcome that if I wanted to actually grab hold of this new path. So
Yep.
yeah, it was a challenging week, that's for sure.
But it was interesting prior to that how it started to play out, wasn't it? Because that's when I made a decision not long after that, you know what, I'm going to start doing these complimentary group sessions online and start pulling people in to see what I can start helping them with. Probably not really knowing exactly what that was going to look like or what people were actually going to want some help with. And the people that you jumped online with, because you jumped online that very first session that I decided to do, that was really interesting because we got a range of different things that people wanted help with, but there was this underlying fear of failure and fear of success.
Yeah, there was, and trying to find that medium point, I guess, amongst the group as to which way you were going about it. But look, I entered that session first time ever. I've never experienced hypnotherapy before, or in the practical sense, I haven't. That was my first stint at it. So, and I felt it was such a calming sensation that you provided in that session, and at first I thought, oh yeah, look, was almost similar to, I think, the modalities that I've been kind of using a little bit with the holistic counseling and Reiki meditation, that sort of thing. But this was obviously at a different scale. However, yeah, from my experience in that initial session with you online, it actually took me a good couple of weeks for it to kick in. At the first week, I thought, I don't feel anything different. I thought at one point I was actually going a little bit declining at one point. But then the second week was when it kind of just kicked in. And I don't know where it triggered or how the shift, what triggered the shift, but it just shifted in the second week, and it's just been go, 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 no looking back. And the amount of energy that I've had to accompany me that second week onwards has been incredible.
Yeah, cool. So what did you notice was the biggest thing that sort of shifted for you?
My energy shifted. My motivation shifted, in particular, my motivation. And just not procrastinating, not talking myself out of it. So usually I would talk myself out of something leading up to, and past that second week point, I had none of that creep into my head at all. It just, I didn't even entertain the thought of it that I would normally do. So I didn't have the level of anxieties or emotions that I would normally carry leading up to something. It was just all gone.
That's so cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
But that was only the first sort of, I suppose you would say, little breakthrough that allowed you to go to the next step.
Yeah.
And then the next step was you had to get on public transport, which you hadn't done in how many years?
Over 25 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd, you know, obviously working, I drive to work, and I've got my little comfort, you know, routine. So this week or last week that, you know, I did the course, literally threw me into the deep end of catching public transport and the crowds. You know, I don't do well in crowds generally, and having to sit on a train where it starts to get more packed and more people, and I'm like, oh my God, like, where's the door? You know.
Yep.
So yeah, that got to me. And then there were a few hiccups with the trains being terminated midway. You know, sometimes it took me 2.5 hours to get home.
Yeah, it was a full-on week.
It was a full-on week, and it literally was it was almost like it was just testing me. How am I going to respond to these little hiccups that are being thrown at me? And each time that it happened, because it happened a few times, it got easier and easier. So by the end of the week, I was thrown in an area that I grew up in over 30 years ago, changed completely. I had to try and make my own way back home. So, you know, I was able to compose myself more easily and figure out, okay, what do I do from here? Where do I go? What, you know, I need to find a bus. I need to find this and that. And I did it with such grace and ease that I actually enjoyed the experience in the end. It was really bizarre. Like it was almost, it was so serene. It was just like, oh yeah, I'm really enjoying this little bus ride now. And the train terminated in an area that I grew up in over 30 years ago. Oh well, okay. Yeah, it was just really bizarre the week that I had, but obviously a message was thrown in, I believe, in that week for me. And ideally, you know, testing me how I would respond normally, how I would respond compared to how I did respond in the end. So massive difference.
Amazing. And even before the course, like we were chatting away and I was sort of telling you it's all good, Steph, like we're going to deal with all of that on the course. Like I'll be hypnotizing you every day. You guys will be hypnotizing each other. You'll get all your shit sorted if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I know.
You thought I was a bit nuts.
I thought, oh, okay, it's really that. Yeah, I didn't know what to. I came into it with no expectations, to be honest. So, and I was very open-minded, and I think that's what helped me getting through the week and being able to absorb your teachings and Paul's teachings as well, on top of the being thrown in the deep end. But being so open and not having the expectation, but allowing what I was meant to learn, and I think that helped a lot for me.
Yeah, amazing. So if we talk about last week's course, what were some highlights for you around what you learnt last week?
Oh, look, like I had mentioned, every day for me was a highlight. There was always something new that came to light that prompted my interest even further. I mean, the teachings that you guys provided was very clear, structured, and that helped to how you broke it up in sections, and how it all came together. It was so just the way you planned it. I couldn't have planned it any better, honestly. It came together in such a way, but also having a different variety of peers in there helped too, because we all came in with different backgrounds, with different triggers and you know, different histories that were brought in, and then we reacted in certain ways. And even when we were hypnotized, our reactions were different. And so it took us, we had the variety of how we would tackle the different individuals when going into hypnosis and a trance. And honestly, it was an eye-opener. It was almost like the testing point. Okay, you may get someone that reacts this way, and you may get someone that has these sort of traumas or these sort of anxieties and triggers, and, you know, try and incorporate this next time. And the amount of practical exercises that we were given, I think, helped immensely in getting our confidence levels boosted as we were doing it. Because at the start, we're obviously like way out of our depth, but as we got along and tried the exercises that you provided, the confidence grew a little bit more and more, and it's like, oh yeah, it actually works, and wow. And it was just like amazing to actually see it. It was incredible.
Yep. And so realizing like everybody was in a safe space, and everybody could just, I suppose, expose as much as they wanted to expose, get as much help as they wanted to that week. Sharing with everybody here, what sort of things were you sort of dealing with students, without going and breaking any confidentiality? But you hypnotized quite a few people last week, including myself and including Paul, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But around some of the other students and some of the things that they were dealing with, what sort of things were you hypnotizing them for?
Some of the things were confidence, obviously, was one big boost, or common thing that had come up, and some memory issues or visualizations, you know, inability to visualize certain images in our minds, sort of thing. Also, what was interesting was that obviously once under a trance, one would be a little bit more physical, movement wise, and that was really interesting to see as well. And there was nothing wrong with it either. It was just how do we actually work around that? And so the variety, and even for myself, anxieties was also a common theme. Some sleep and memory tension, and variety. It was such a variety of topics and issues that came out, that after a while, as we got more and more comfortable with each other, and we were able to throw in there a little bit more about ourselves. So it was a safe space for us to talk and to engage and look into more about our inner or underlying issues, perhaps.
Yep. Yeah, awesome. And so we had an odd number last week. And so because of that, you got thrown in the deep end yet again. And so Paul decided, you know what, I've got an issue with my sleep. I'm going to get Steph to hypnotize me to sort it. How did that feel?
I was nervous. I thought, here I am. He's an expert. I'm literally just starting out. Like, there's no way this guy is going to go under with me. Like, I thought to myself, he's just going to take the piss out of me. Like, because there's no way I could do it. I just had that self-doubt creep into my mind, you know. But surprisingly, with guidance and that, like, it actually went really well. You know, obviously I still had the thoughts, the self-doubt thoughts a little bit, but I still stuck to the structure that we were given. So following that, I trusted the process, and it went really well.
It sure did. He's had amazing sleep ever since.
Yes. So I've got feedback saying that he's been sleeping well since. So I was stoked to hear that, actually, and I thought, no way, I could actually sustain, and it's been consistent. So that was incredible to hear. I'm really, really happy.
And I mean, now it just backs up what we were telling you on day one. Just learn the process, trust the process, do the process, because the process works. And
Absolutely.
the confidence will start to come out of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so by you being chucked in the deep end with Paul like that, and then getting that feedback from him, I think it was only yesterday or the day before, I think he might have texted you.
Yesterday. Yeah, I was stoked. I'm like, oh my God, like I couldn't believe it. Yeah, absolutely trust the process. Absolutely agree with that.
Yep, that's it. And then we had an opportunity where I got to hypnotize you.
Yes.
And so I got to help you with, my God, I've just had a mind blank as to what the heck it was now. What were you freaking out about?
I had the sensation of the choking feeling.
That's right. So every time you were going under hypnosis, it was feeling like you were choking.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And I felt like it's not safe, sort of thing. And then it took me quite a while to get under it and comfortably anyway. But yeah, you worked with me on that. So yeah, that was a real scary feeling for me at the beginning. I think it was almost like a resistant mechanism inside me, and or a protective mechanism. But once you actually worked with me on that, I have actually had any issues at all. Like, it's been, again, it just removes all that emotion attached to it, the anxiety attached to it. And I don't even think about it now. So it was so positive for me. Turnaround, honestly.
Perfect. And we recognised together that it was pretty much a protection mechanism that was going on. And after speaking to your subconscious in that session, and it was quite a quick session actually we went through, I realised very, very quickly that I had to let your subconscious mind know that you were completely safe, that you were going to stay in that chair, that nothing bad was going to happen. I wasn't going to say anything untoward or anything bad, that it could just trust the process and it could let that protection go. And it did.
You did. Yeah, actually it did. Once I released it and let go of that handle to try and control it, it definitely worked. Yeah, absolutely recommend it.
Yep. And that was really good, because you got to see firsthand why we tell you that we don't like to work with clients just one time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And the reasons why we work with clients more than once is more for their benefit than it is ours as running a business, because we need time to build trust with that subconscious mind and that person.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I would highly recommend and agree that the multiple sessions would definitely benefit the individual. And I think it all makes sense. It definitely makes sense. So it's been an eye-opener, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I think by that stage, were we into about day 3, I think, by that stage when I did that with you?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
So your subconscious mind had been sitting there listening for 3 days to me talk, to sort of build that trust, build that rapport. And then it got to the point of realizing, okay, I might be prepared to listen to what she's got to say and see if she can help me to sort this.
Yeah, definitely. I was at that verge where I'm like, Tanya, I need to say something. Like, yeah, it was at that point that I needed it to shift, and I knew it needed to shift if I was going to proceed any further. So that was recognized already. It was having the courage, I guess, to actually just do it, to let go and do it.
Yeah. And then you saw the results of that, which is just phenomenal, because now you know that if you come against that with a client, you're going to know exactly what to do and how to move through it, especially as you move on through diploma level and we start to teach more about the subconscious mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been really enjoyed cool. The practical sense of it. Yeah, it's been a great exercise.
Yep. Yeah, you guys got to see a lot on that course. It was amazing. It just rolled out exactly how it was meant to. The people that were meant to be there were there. You guys all had this really tight group. It was phenomenal to watch, actually. We just came away from it just absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, we created such great connections with everybody, and strong trust amongst one another. We came in with a little bit like a delicate souls to one point, not knowing and, the unknown. But we've actually connected so well that we've been able to maintain contact after the course, which has been great.
Yeah, cool. And then you being a Reiki practitioner, that means you're already open to all of that energetic healing and all of that side of things. So seeing that mesmerism and magnetism session, or energetic hypnotism, however you want to say it, seeing that being demonstrated in front of you, with myself, with Josh, how did that sort of resonate within you?
Oh, look, that aligned very strongly with me. I was very familiar with that part. That obviously with the Reiki that I practice, energetic wise, it's quite similar. I mean, I could feel Josh's energy whilst he was under at that point of time, and we were a little bit further apart, seated, but still he was radiating that energy, and I was able to pick it up. So very familiar with it, and I actually enjoyed seeing that part of the exercise in that week.
Yep. So as you know, we're going to teach a lot more of that. You'll know how to do that by the end of the next diploma course in August. So that's pretty exciting, because I feel like you're one person that will just pick it up really quickly, because you're just so open and you're already doing a version of it anyway.
Yeah, it was very familiar for me. So I actually enjoyed seeing that part. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with the course last week that you wanted to share?
Oh, look, I highly recommend it. I am still buzzing from last week. So today's
Love
Tuesday,
that.
but I'm stuck. I'm on a high. And I was actually thinking about, initially I had thought about deferring to next year diploma. But I'm on such a high at the moment that I just want to continue. I want to still stay on this path. I want to keep this momentum going and this rhythm going. So I've decided to continue it in your next course in August. So I am super excited, and I can't wait for August to hurry up. Just come around.
Yeah, we hear that all the time. Once people get the buzz, it's like, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
And I love that, because that's why I'm here. Yeah, it's to fulfill the passions that you guys have got, to learn this skill set, to know that it's easy to learn, and to be able to go out there and do what you feel called to do with it.
Yeah, look, initially I never thought that I could ever do anything like hypnosis. Like, I'd never thought twice about it. I thought it was such a specialty that I wouldn't have been able to do at all. But look, my life has been shifted in a particular way, and I'm just following that guide that's telling me just keep going this way, and it's led me to you, and the course that you're providing. So I am still listening to that, and I'm still eager. I can't wait to get to the next stage.
Yeah, love it. It's going to be awesome. That is such a cool course. That's probably one of our favorites, because that's when we really just see people go next level.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I wanted to bring up was the last day with the assessments, the practical assessments that we did. Once again, you got chucked in the deep end. And I'm going to expose myself a little bit here personally, because I was having a real issue around a real fear and a real dread around having to get an iron infusion. And Paul knew this. And part of me didn't want to deal with it, to be honest. Part of me was like, yeah, shit, I know my iron levels are low and I've got to do something with this, and I've got to go get an iron infusion. But there was just this dread around, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And so when he said to me, look, I'm going to partner you up with Steph. She's going to be hypnotizing you for her assessment, and you're going to be able to deal with this. And part of me was like, you're going to do what? And it wasn't because you're useless or anything like that, Steph. It was, part of me was in resistance to even wanting to deal with it. That's just being completely honest here. You know that I've had an issue in the past, major issue with needles and blood and fainting. And I've worked through a lot of that already, but this whole iron infusion thing just threw me through a spin. And so you were chucked in the deep end with me yet again, having to hypnotize me for my practical assessment. You did a fantastic job. I mean, my conscious awareness stayed around. I heard everything that you said. You just delivered a beautiful, incredible session, to the point where I've got my iron infusion booked in for next Friday. And I did that without even thinking about it, dreading it, nothing. Turns out Paul's not even going to be here. He's going away. So normally it'd be like, oh my God, I can't do it. This can't happen. And I just went, no, I'm just going to get it done. Campbell, you're going to drive me down there. You're going to wait there till I'm done, and then you're going to drive me home.
Oh, fantastic. Look at that. Look at you go. Oh, that's incredible.
That's all thanks to you, because freaking hell, my resistance was like, my God, here we go again. I'm chucked in the deep end. I'm having to do something I don't really want to do, but deep down I did want to do it because I knew I had to get it done.
Yeah. I'm stoked that you've actually booked it in.
I have.
That's incredible. Oh, that's fantastic. The assessment with you, I thought, oh no, here we go. Like, now I'm thrown again in the deep end. And I thought, oh no. And you tell you what, like, I had changed from the initial point of starting on how I'm going to structure this session with you. I changed it 4 times in our prep. Yep. And then I modified it and tweaked it specifically just for you and the words that you were using. So I wanted it to be personally tailored for you. And it was my intention that I needed to tweak it and just tweak it a little bit more. So I'm really, really happy hearing that.
Yeah, and what you don't know is that I've been hypnotized previously because I couldn't, whenever I walked up hills, I would just, if my heart rate got over 120 beats a minute, so like I went into a panic state. And so I got hypnotized to sort that out. And through that process, I don't remember it because I went into La La Land, but through that process, she told me that I needed to bring my fingers and my thumb together, which is exactly the same technique you gave me through that last hypnosis.
Yeah, I did. I incorporated that too. Yes, I did.
Yeah. And so every time I would go up a hill, I would do that, and instant calm. And so I already knew as soon as you told me that is brilliant, because I know that works.
Ah, awesome.
And so you just instilled such a belief in me that resonated with me and spoke to me that just got rid of all of that dread.
That's fantastic. Yeah, see, I didn't know that part.
I didn't share that part because it actually didn't click till later, because I knew that I'd done that through the session. I felt my fingers doing it. I wasn't doing it. The subconscious was doing it. And then it triggered to me, this feels familiar. And then it wasn't until I think the next day I was off walking somewhere, I don't even know where, and all of a sudden I remembered, oh, that's what I got given in that hypnosis session to stop me panicking when I was walking up hills.
Yeah, see, that particular method there that you're saying now, I kept getting drawn back to that when I was prepping it for you. And I was thinking, because I had changed a lot 4 times, it always drew me back to that. And I thought, okay, we're going to incorporate this, but I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to add a little bit more. But that was always going to be in it. It was just really interesting that you mentioned it.
That was so perfect, because now I know on Friday, even if I feel a little bit of anxiety next Friday when I've got to go and have this done, all I've got to do is that and know that my subconscious mind's going to bring complete calm, because it's worked for me before. So there's no doubt that it's going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to know.
No doubt
I want
whatsoever.
feedback on Friday after how you go.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be ringing you afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll be letting you know.
Please, that'll be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, that was amazing, because I didn't expect that. I didn't know that I was going to be hypnotized. And so that was really, it not only put you in the deep end, but it put me in the deep end as well.
Yeah.
Because I knew we had an odd number.
Yeah.
Paul had already been hypnotized, so it was my turn next.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's
But I
awesome.
don't let just anyone hypnotize me. Yeah, I've got my own intuition and my own sort of inner knowing and my inner knowing. Yeah, that's right, inner knowing.
Yeah.
And so I protect that. So I trusted my gut when he said, yep, Steph's going to hypnotize you. It all just felt right. It all just felt like it was meant to align.
Yeah.
And so I'm just so grateful that you didn't chicken out. That you just trusted the process, you trusted your intuition, and you just did a brilliant job of that. And I know that next Friday is just not going to be an issue for me. Even if I start to feel a little bit of faint feeling, I know that I can just do that. I can go back to that session because I can remember every part of it and just know that I'm going to be able to get through it.
Yeah, absolutely you will. You're gonna smash it. You're gonna be fine.
I'm gonna smash it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're gonna be just fine.
Yep. So I wanted to share that with you because when that came to mind, I was like, yeah, I need to tell Steph that.
Yeah. I'm glad you told me. See how it all just makes sense a little bit more now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And whatever you did with me at the start too to get me under, I can't remember what deepener or whatever you used, but it's really funny because I've done so many different deepeners and ways of getting people under hypnosis. And so I'm always waiting to see what am I expecting, which one am I going to be able to talk my way through in my mind because I know it off by heart. And whatever one you chose, I didn't actually know. And so I was able to just take the trainer side of it out and just be the client and just listen and just follow. And it was incredible. It really was. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, no. I mean, as I'm prepping it, I'm thinking, oh, what would resonate more? What aligns more? I guess intuitively, like what would align more? And I'm glad that actually worked. And I think, before we began, I asked you to do some calming breathing techniques as well, just to ground yourself a little bit. And
perfect, because I was still in a trainer, still full on.
Yeah, absolutely. So it all came together perfectly. I'm really happy.
It did. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're coming to the end of our little chat now. It's been so cool being able to catch up with you again just after last week, and we know that you're going on to do further training, to do your diploma, to, even though you know the energetic stuff, to just learn the next level of what we teach so that you can incorporate that into what you do to help your clients even further. Just to increase your toolbox even more. We always say that, use the skills that you've got, just increase your toolbox. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I am so ready. Like it's like an awakening. I'm so ready for it. So bring it on.
Yep. And I can just see people just flocking to you. You're going to get plenty of people to practice with. Who knows, you might even start to get clients, because I could tell very, very quickly that you've picked this up fast and you're very good at it.
Thank you.
So you just keep trusting that intuition, keep trusting what you've learnt. You know where I am. If you want to ask any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me. You know that. I'm an open book. I'm not going to hide anything from you. If I'm busy, I'll let you know I'm busy, and then we'll talk when I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been really accommodating from day one, and always there. So you've always followed through with every question I've thrown at you, or every anxiety I've thrown at you. But you've always been accommodating. So that's helped a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Was there anything else you wanted to share before we finish up tonight?
Honestly, get onto the course. It's been an incredible experience, and I highly recommend it to anybody. Yeah.
Thanks, Steph. It's so cool to have your support.
Yeah, absolutely. You have my support. Paul has my support. Like the whole course that you have structured it to be, the way you've structured it, is just phenomenal. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, credit to you guys for the amount of work that you're putting through. Yeah.
Love it. We get to meet so many incredible people around Australia, and it's like our family just grows and grows and grows. It's really cool. It's really what we wanted.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I know that we're going to catch up with you in the future after you've done your diploma training. We'll look to have another catch up. We'll look to have another chat, get on the podcast. We'll share with everybody what it is that you're going to be doing next, because I know there's so many people out there that are going to benefit from like what you're learning now, what you already know, and how you're going to incorporate all of that to just go out there and do what it is that you come here to do.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Love your work.
Bloody exciting.
Isn't it?
Yep. All right, I'm going to let you go, Steph, but thank you so much for coming on with me tonight, for sharing so vulnerably. I know a lot of the stuff that you shared is really, really personal, so I really appreciate you being able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's all been for a good cause. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for the experience.
You're very welcome. We'll catch up soon.
We will. Thanks, Tanya.
Thanks, Steph. See ya.
See ya.